The dog suddenly realizes that a thief has snuck his baby into his arms. He kept barking. The owner of the dog heard the noise and came to the house. He thought the dog was going to bite the guest and pulled the dog back. Seeing that the thief had taken the puppy out, the dog rushed after him, but he was blocked by the glass door. Watching the thief put the pups in a steel cage, the mother of the dog helplessly tapped on the glass door. Just as the thief drove away, a customer entered the door. The dog took the opportunity to run out quickly. He chases the dog down the road. The dog runs through the chaotic traffic. The dog knows he can't outrun the cars. At the corner of the road, the dog rushes out from the side road to outrun the car. The car stops at a traffic light. Seeing that the child is right in front of him, the dog runs even harder, but the car drove off again. The dog can only try to catch up. If the dog can't catch up this time, he may lose the baby forever. At a fork in the road, the dog runs towards the upper road. He ran as hard as he could to reach the car. Then he leapt and grabbed the tailgate of the car and kept looking for support. After a lot of efforts, the dog finally climbed into the truck. The pups are in the cage and want to be in their mother's arms, but the mother can't open the cage. She can only lick and comfort her baby. The dog doesn't know where the van will take him. At the end of the line, the thief takes the dog out. The dog hides in the car and has to find another way to save the baby. Worried that her baby might be hurt, the mother breaks in. She kept barking at the thieves. Seeing that the thieves would not let the pups go, the mother swallowed the diamonds on the table. Then she ran away. The two thieves chased her all the way out. The mom bought her puppies more time to escape. The dog was afraid that the thieves couldn't catch up with her, so she stopped at a fork in the road. When the thieves were exhausted, the dog disappeared. Late at night, when everyone was asleep, the dog came back to save the baby, but the thief was sleeping with the dog by his side. The dog had an idea. He quietly brought a box. When the thief wasn't looking, he switched the boxes. Then the mother dog gently picked up the pups and ran out. The mother opened the cage in the corner. She managed to get the baby out. The dog took the baby and searched all night for a way home. They came to the woods. When they were thirsty, they drank water from the ditch. When it got cold, the mother held the baby in her arms. They traveled for many days. Hungry, in the woods, they saw a trap with a delicious ham sausage in it. The pups smelled it and wanted to eat it. Luckily, the mother stopped her in time. Then she picked up the pups and put them in a hole in the ground and covered them with leaves. After making sure it's safe, the dog turns around and walks towards the trap. Looking at the food in the trap, the mother dog got lost in thought. The dog picked up the baby and threw it into a dirt pit. She then covered it with leaves. After making sure it was safe, the dog turned around and headed for the trap. Looking at the ham sausage on the trap, she couldn't help but swallow. The mother wanted to eat it with her hands, but she couldn't help herself. After thinking for a moment, the mom came up with an idea. First she got a stick and threw it at the trap. The trap was instantly destroyed by the stick. The mom was about to pick up the ham when she realized that a wild boar was staring at her. Fearing that the food will be taken away, the dog barks to chase the boar away, but the boar refuses to leave. The dog takes a closer look and sees a hungry baby boar lying on the ground. As a mother, the dog sympathizes with the boar. She turned around and picked up half of the ham and walked towards the boar. The dog gave the ham to the boar's baby. The boar was grateful to the dog. The mother had just returned with the food when she realized her baby was gone. She shouted and searched for him, but she couldn't hear the baby's voice. What the dog didn't realize was that her cries had attracted thieves. The thieves surrounded the dog on both sides. The dog suddenly tried to break through the circle, but the thieves pulled him by the hind legs. Just as the thieves were getting excited, a wild boar appeared in front of them. The thieves are terrified. The boar had come to rescue the dog. The two thieves are chased down the hill by the boar. The mother searched for her pups, and the pups meet a poisonous snake on the lawn. The puppies don't know what's going on in the forest. The snake took one look at the pup and bit him. When the mother arrived, the pups were already lying on the ground. The mother barks in all directions. She hoped someone would hear her and come to her rescue, but there was no one in the middle of nowhere. The mother suddenly took off running, leaving her baby behind. Without looking back, she ran as fast as she could through the woods. The dog was in a hurry to find the two thieves, because they were the only ones who could save her baby. The mother carried her baby to them. Then she turns and walks away. As the thieves picked up the pups and walked down the hill, the mom breathed a sigh of relief. Puppy meets a poisonous snake on the lawn. Innocent pups don't know the dangers of the forest. The snake took one look at the puppy and suddenly attacked and bit him. When the mother arrived, the pup was already lying on the ground. The mother barks in all directions. She hoped someone would hear her and come to her rescue, but there was no one in the middle of nowhere. The dog suddenly took off running, leaving the baby behind. Without looking back, she ran as fast as she could through the woods. The dog was in a hurry to find the two thieves, because they were the only ones who could save her child. The dog carried the baby to them. Then she turned and walked away. The mother was relieved when the thieves picked up her pup and walked down the hill. The dog followed her to the hospital. Seeing that the pups were okay, the mom thought about how to get them back to her. The dog jumps into the thief's van and takes a package. When the thieves come out, the dog tries to trade with them, but the dog didn't realize the thieves didn't care about the package. They drove straight to the car to catch the dog, but the dog was expecting this. The dog sets another trap and leads the thieves to a dog park. There's a lot of dogs in there. The two thieves can't tell which one is which. They can only look for them one by one. The dog climbed into the car to save the baby, but the dog is not yet recovered. The dog can only leave the baby with the thieves for the time being. She went home to find the owner and make other plans, but it's a long way to go and the dog doesn't know when she'll find her home. On the way, The dog saw a happy family of 3 inside a tractor. The dog's eyes were full of envy. The dog doesn't know when her children will come back to her to enjoy their owner's love. Night falls and the sky is raining heavily. The dog couldn't find a place to stay. She could only lie on the side of the road and let the rain drench her body. In her exhaustion, the dog fell asleep. A car passed by and the dog woke up. She saw her puppy on the cold ground. The puppy was running towards her happily, but the dog was too weak to get up. The puppy came to his mother and kept calling for her to get up. The dog struggled to get up, but realized the baby wasn't there. She's still out in the rain. The dog barks a few times to cheer herself up, thinking of her baby. The dog can't fall. She struggles to find a hospital. The doctor was kind enough to save the dog and notify the owner. The owner found the dog. The owner was relieved to learn that the dog had only suffered a slight chill. They found out on the surveillance camera that the thief who stole the puppy was the same one who robbed the diamonds. They didn't know what the dog had been through. The owners were sobbing in pain. In the morning, the dog woke up barking at the portraits of the 2 thieves. The owners couldn't figure out what the dog wanted. The dog seems to have discovered something. He suddenly ran away from his master's arms. Then he kept barking at the fork in the road. The owners rushed to catch up with him. When they saw the house on the banner, they realized what the dog meant. The owners rushed to the police station to report the crime. The dog ran all the way to the police station to save the child. He arrived at the scene panting, but the thieves threatened the dog with the pups, forcing the dog to surrender. Otherwise they'll break the cage. The smart dog will not give in. The thieves used the pups to lure the dog into the house. The house is full of traps. Just when the thieves thought the dog was going to be trapped, the dog easily broke the trap. The thief was so angry that he took out the puppy again. He slammed the cage on the floor. The dog screamed at the thief in pain. In order to save the baby, the dog can only let the thief do whatever he wants. The dog looks at the triangular nails in front of him, but the thief asks the dog to come on foot. The dog thinks for a moment, then turns around and finds a sponge. He sweeps away the nails and walks right over. Seeing that the plan has failed, the thief asks the dog to walk into a room full of mousetraps again. The dog is not going to fall for this. Seeing that the dog is hesitant to enter the room, the thief threatens the dog again. The dog is furious and impulsively pounces on the thief but accidentally triggers a trap. The dog was locked in the house. When the thieves excitedly enter the house to catch the dog, they realize that the dog has disappeared. They turned around and realized that the dog was hiding in the same place. The dog barked furiously and approached the thieves step by step. The 2 thieves were forced into a room full of mousetraps. They didn't dare to move. The dog barks fiercely and approaches the thief step by step. The thieves are forced into a room full of mousetraps. They don't dare move. The dog pushes against the wooden door until it closes. The mousetraps jump. The thief falls to the ground in a heap. The dog waits for the thieves to come and then quickly escapes. One of the thieves accidentally hits a trap and gets himself caught in it. The dog runs to save the child. When the dog opens the cage, he finds no pups inside. Inside was only a recording of the pups. The dog had to evacuate, but the thieves didn't stop there. Angry, they took the pups and chained them up in the middle of the house. They took out a shotgun and tried to threaten the dog to come out. The dog hid in the corner, afraid to make a sound. The burglar seems to have heard the noise. He grabbed the shotgun and fired a volley of shots. The dog sensed that its mother was in danger and kept struggling and grunting. Seeing that the dog did not come out, the thief aimed the gun at the cage on the ground. The dog looked at the innocent child and could not think of a good way out. It can only desperately run out of the body in front of the dog pups. The thief pulled the trigger. The dog fell straight to the ground. The dog saw his mother and wanted to jump into her arms, but the dog was tied to the rope and could only cry helplessly. When the thieves raised the gun again, the police arrived in time. The 2 thieves were arrested on the spot. The owner found the dog. After the dog recovered, the family went to the beach and played happily.